Hello, fellow flamenco enthusiasts, and welcome to Everything Flamenco. I'm your host, La Hugo. This is episode 51. You will be happy to know that we will talk about the La Feria and Sevillanas today, and it will be a longer episode than normal, what I can anticipate. So hopefully that will make up for the fact that I'm a week late. So let's talk about La Feria and Sevillanas. Welcome to episode 51, everyone. I don't know if it was maybe that I celebrated Freedom Day too much 2 weeks ago, but I also celebrated my anniversary last week. Uh, that is why I did not publish an episode. I must be honest, I really don't know how other people do it. They must have a big team behind them. No excuse, but I do all the research myself for this and write the script or guidance notes, uh, and so forth and so forth. So hopefully this one is going to be worth the wait. Let's start with an introduction to La Feria de Abril. So this year, actually, the Feria was not in April, it was in May. What was exciting is I saw that a lot of South African flamenco dancers also went there to go celebrate the Feria. There's lots of pictures floating around on social media. And then we also had a wonderful Feria version here in Cape Town, also a few weeks ago at Youngblood in Cape Town. It was really so lovely and to see everyone from the different schools. And it was really amazing to see also that Sevillanas and La Feria and flamenco in general is for everyone because there were people of all ages and all backgrounds. And it was just so colorful and fun. And I'm really looking forward to the next one next year. Let's pause talking about myself and my own experiences and dive into one of Spain's most iconic celebrations, which is the Feria de Abril or the April Fair, and explore the heart and soul of Seville's culture through the lively rhythms of this grand festival. So, I've lightly touched on the Feria de Abril in a previous episode, so I might repeat some of these things now again, but I really love talking about this because the Feria de Abril really is more than just a festival. It's a very vivid expression of Andalusian culture. It's held every spring, typically in April. We are now in autumn in South Africa, but our seasons are the other way around. So they have it typically in April. And this fair brings together everything that makes Seville so unique. I mean, and not only Seville, but Andalusia. It's flamenco, traditional dresses, the food, and of course the spirit of celebration that runs deep in the heart of its people. What happens is that the fair's grounds are transformed into a stunning spectacle of colorful casetas or little tents, and they have parades and horse-drawn carriages and lots of dancing. And thousands of people from all over the world go to Seville to join in the fun, to take part in the atmosphere, and to witness the beauty of Andalusian tradition in full swing. Like I said, many South African dancers had the privilege this year of going to celebrate there. And it's a time when the city really embraces its roots, combining flamenco, the rhythms of the Sevillanas, and delicious local dishes such as tapas and manzanilla. The Feria really is not just an event, it's an immersion into Seville's identity, a chance to step into a world where tradition and festivity collides. Let's look a bit at the origins of the Feria. So to do that, we need to take a step back to understand how this grand festival came to be. So the Feria de Abril actually started in 1847 as a livestock market. Can you imagine if you think about what it is today? Because what began that time as a simple agricultural fair quickly grew into a far grander event. And over time, it evolved, incorporating cultural traditions, music, and dancing until it became the massive festival we know and love today, and that's celebrated by people all over the world. So, the early years of the Feria were really focused on trade, but Seville's residents began to see it as a social gathering as well. It was a time of the year where everyone from the town came together. And over the decades, the fair expanded, and with the introduction of temporary casetas or little tents, the fair became a true celebration of Sevillan identity and pride. The Feria is now one of Spain's most important cultural events, and can you believe it? It attracts over 1 million visitors each year. And for Sevillans, this event is more than just a festival. It's really a time to celebrate their history, their music, their dance, and their community. If you walk through the fairgrounds, and that's only from pictures that I've seen and research done, because that's something that I would really like to still go and attend, is the feria. But apparently, walking through the fairgrounds, you'll find yourself surrounded by hundreds of casetas, each one decorated in its own unique way, many of them representing families, clubs, and organizations. From each caseta, you'll hear the clapping, the palmas, the guitar playing, and of course, the sound of sevillanas being danced. It really seems like it will be such a mesmerizing experience with the past and the present mingle, and where every corner of the feria is filled with music and joy. So apparently they also have parades there of horse-drawn carriages with riders dressed in traditional Andalusian attire. And then you will have people of all ages dancing sevillanas in the streets. The feria really represents the soul of Seville in its most joyful and lively form. So now you might hear people refer to the event as the Feria de Sevilla, but because it's in Seville, but its official name is still the Feria de Abril. This is just a matter of tradition because the fair has become so synonymous with Seville that the two names are often used interchangeably. But no matter what it is called, the Feria de Abril is more than just a festival. It's a symbol of Seville's spirit, festival of joy, tradition, and community. And even though it has evolved over the years, its roots in Andalusian culture really remains firmly in place. The fair generally begins 2 weeks after the Semana Santa or Easter Holy Week, which is really also a big thing in Spanish culture. And the fair officially begins at midnight on the Saturday, 2 weeks after Semana Santa, and runs for 7 days, ending on the following Saturday. Let's talk about the Sevillanas a little bit more, which is the beautiful dance that captures the spirit of the entire festival. But what exactly is Sevillanas? Sevillanas is a traditional folk dance that originates from Seville, and it has become closely associated with the Feria de Abril. While you find Sevillanas being danced in many parts of Spain, it's in Seville during the Feria that the dance truly comes to life. It's a lively and rhythmic dance that's often performed by couples, and it's one of the most beloved dances in Andalusia. It can also be performed by two people, any two people. Sometimes you see women dancing together, men dancing together, women and children, men and children, children dancing, any kind of combination. But it's normally danced by two people. Unlike the intense emotional expression you may find in flamenco, Sevillanas has a much lighter, more playful quality. The dance has a very distinct structure. It features 4 parts or coplas, each with a very specific series of movements where the two dancers, or sometimes even 4 dancers, can engage in intricate footwork, hand gestures, and expressive poses. And the music that accompanies Sevillanas is very distinctive. I think I've linked the playlist on Spotify that I've made for Sevillanas in the previous episode, but I will link it again so that you can go and listen to some Sevillanas music. You will note that it is very vibrant. It's full of energy and perfectly suited for the festive atmosphere of the Feria. And like with flamenco, you also get different speeds. Some of them can be really fast and then some a bit slower. But yeah, the structure of Sevillanas is very distinctive. I'm not going to go into all the detail, but a typical Sevillana song, like I said, consists of 4 coplas or parts, and each of the 4 coplas is made up of 3 parts or tercios, which is a third. And each tercio is marked by a paseo. It's that classic Sevillana step. If you've learned Sevillanas before, your teacher might also call it a Sevillana. So when you do the step, you won't necessarily say paseo, you'll say Sevillana. And then a pasada, which is the moment when the partners that are dancing together pass each other. And these 2 steps are what really helps the dancers to stay in sync, even if their styles are totally different. The compás of the Sevillanas is counted in 6s mostly, with the strongest accent landing on 5. And like I said, there are always some variations. The basic flow of each copla is normally the same, where there's a salida, which is the entrance, where it's normally the guitar laying down the rhythm. Then you have your cante intro, where the singing starts, which flows into the dancer's first cue. And then after that, there's the opening pose, that first little moment of presence before you will actually start with the Sevillana's footwork or steps. And it will start with the Sevillana step and other patterns in the first variation. Then there's a pass where the first partner crosses. Then there's a second variation, also with its own structure. Then another pass, then a third variation, and then the cierre, the closing, which can sometimes end with a turn. And then each copla is followed by a musical interlude that then allows the dancers to perform certain movements before they start the next copla. Each copla has got 3 parts, and then there are 4 coplas. Each copla has its own very distinct musical progression and accompanying dance steps, which means that the performers must be in perfect sync with the music. 2 dancers can do completely different steps, but still be in sync with each other, as there are many variations of the pasada or the pass and other steps. I'm not going to do the breakdown of the structure for each of the coplas. It's actually much easier to watch a video where this is explained. There are many on YouTube that you can look at. The steps of the Sevillanas might seem straightforward, but it does require a lot of coordination, especially the passes. You'll see dancers performing various turns, spins, and foot stamping in time with the music. And sometimes when they do it in fours, sometimes your brain just can't comprehend it. So, but it's beautiful to watch. Now you might ask, now what does Sevillanas have to do with flamenco? It is true that the two styles are closely connected, but there are a few differences between them. So Sevillanas is often seen as a precursor to flamenco, meaning that it helped pave the way for what we recognize today as flamenco. The key difference lies in the emotional depth and style of expression, because flamenco is known to be quite intense and emotionally raw and has a deep connection to personal experience, where Sevillanas tend to be more lighthearted and festive. And flamenco also has a broader variety of rhythms and styles, or palos, that go beyond what's found in Sevillanas. That said, Sevillanas is an integral part of flamenco's evolution. It's a dance that shares many of the same cultural roots, and many flamenco dancers will often include Sevillanas in the repertoire during performances. I mentioned before that Sevillanas isn't just performed at the Feria de Abril. You'll find it danced during many celebrations and festivals throughout Spain, from weddings to romerias and from local fiestas to public holidays. Sevillanas has earned its place as one of the most popular dances in Andalusia, but there's no doubt that the Feria de Abril is the grandest stage for Sevillanas. The importance of Sevillanas in the Feria cannot be overstated. It's really not just a dance, it's a means of connecting with others and of sharing the collective joy of the occasion. During the Feria, you will commonly see entire families with all their friends and even strangers gathering in the casetas to enjoy the dance. It really offers a powerful sense of community. And that is why it was so wonderful for us to also experience that this year in Cape Town, even though we can't be in Spain, where the biggest festival takes place. Because Sevillanas is an invitation to share in the joy of the moment. It's a way to bond, to celebrate Andalusian traditions, and to showcase the festive spirit of Seville. You don't need to be a professional to dance. The people are just there to enjoy the experience and to share the moment with others, whether it's improvised, dancing with a partner, or more choreographed performance. Sevillanas really adds a unique flavor to the feria. It makes it even more special. Now that we've explored the dance of Sevillanas, a little bit of where it came from and what the structure is, it was so interesting to learn how this tradition is actually taught, the dance, and why it's so accessible to everyone. Because for many, learning Sevillanas begins informally. It's a dance that's often passed down from family to family or picked up from friends and neighbors. And if you've ever been to the feria, even here in Cape Town, you'll know that everyone, regardless of age or skill level, joins in the dance. And that's the magic of it. There's no pressure to be a professional dancer, to even dance it perfectly. I mean, many of us just dance the first couplet together, or kind of a version of it, but it's about celebrating together. And the next thing about the feria, which is probably very obvious to everyone except for the Sevillanas, is the costumes. Oh my goodness, it's spectacular. It really adds so much to the festival's visual appeal, because for women especially, the traditional flamenco dress, or traje de flamenca, is a must-have for the feria. These dresses are often vibrant and colorful, adorned with polka dots or floral patterns. They have a super, super flared skirt at the bottom. It's designed to swirl as the dancer moves. So it's often very fitted at the top, and then it flares at the bottom with lots of frills and ruffles along the sleeves and the bottom. The dress is not just functional, it's made for movement and expression, and it's very colorful oftentimes. You'll see very interesting combinations of colors being worn by the women during the feria. For the men, it's more toned down. It's typically short jackets or traditional Andalusian dress. They might wear wide brimmed hats, or they might even just wear a very smart suit. Can you just imagine what the energy and the atmosphere must be like during that time, where the streets are alive with color and movement, and everywhere you look, you see people in bright, vibrant costumes, families walking hand in hand, eating tapas, drinking manzanilla, people laughing and hearing music all over coming from the different casetas. There must be a feeling of excitement, of anticipation, like something magical is about to happen, because the whole city of Seville is celebrating together. I'm just thinking about if the sun sets, casetas are lit up with thousands of lights, and you can just hear the sounds of flamenco guitar and the rhythmic clapping of hands and stamping of feet that can be heard everywhere. Ah, it must be magical. Music really has a way of connecting people, and I think even if you don't know the words to the songs that are playing, it must be impossible to resist tapping your foot to the beat or starting dancing, whether it's the cantejondo or the deep song or upbeat rhythms or pop music. It must be an atmosphere of note. Apparently, in some casetas, live performances really keep the energy high, where singers are belting out traditional flamenco songs and guitarists are strumming fast-paced riffs. And at the same time, the streets are alive with pop music and people are singing and dancing, and just makes everyone feel welcome to join in. And of course, all that dancing and singing must make you hungry and thirsty. And no celebration in Spain is complete without food and drink. And the feria is no exception. So apparently there's lots of food and drink available at the feria. So the air must be filled with the smell of delicious local delicacies, with tapas like tortilla española, which is the Spanish omelette, patatas bravas, which is crispy potatoes with spicy sauce, and croquetas, which are fried savory treats. And for those with a sweet tooth, of course, there'll be churros somewhere and other tasty pastries. And then, of course, there's Spanish jamon, sliced thin and served with a cold drink. So jamon is Spanish ham. Fantastic. I've had that before. It's amazing. And many people also enjoy manzanilla, which is a dry pale sherry from the region, which pairs perfectly with the lively atmosphere. And apparently, if you want something really refreshing, you can try a rebujito, which is a popular drink that's made with sherry. And some people say soda water and some say lemonade. So take your pick, whether you like it sweet or not, I guess. But it's light, it's fizzy, and must be the perfect way to stay cool as you dance the night away. The feria really has a global impact now, where the feria was once just a local celebration. It's really become a major cultural attraction with thousands of visitors each year coming to experience it. I just quickly did a Google before I started this episode now, and they think there was about 5 million people that visited the feria this year during that week. I mean, how crazy is that? Because of the way that it's set up, and I think how the atmosphere is and everything, it has become a bucket list item for many global travelers, including myself, because flamenco and Sevillanas is also being celebrated right across the world. I mean, Today, you'll find people dancing this in Japan, Mexico, United States, Germany, all over Europe, Argentina, even here in South Africa, like we're trying to keep a strong presence for the art form. And we like to celebrate with the Spanish. You can say what you want. I just think the Feria, yes, it may be a celebration that takes place in the heart of Seville, but its impact has spread far beyond Spain. It really unites flamenco lovers from all over the world in a shared appreciation of the beauty and the energy of this extraordinary cultural tradition. As we come to the end of today's episode, it's impossible not to reflect on the sheer joy and energy of La Feria de Abril. The Sevillanas, at the heart of the celebration, are more than just a dance. It's a symbol of unity and a powerful expression of the spirit of Seville. Because in every step, every gesture, there's a story being told, a connection being made, and a community coming together in celebration. The colorful costumes, the rhythms, the laughter, and the claps of the audience, everything about La Feria exudes joy and vitality. The last thing that I'm just going to say is that it's not just about the festival. And we won't just celebrate during La Feria every year because the Sevillanas and flamenco as a whole really embodies the joy of living, the spirit of community, and this rich cultural heritage that continues to inspire all of us. Because from the smallest gathering to the grand celebrations, flamenco brings people together, whether they're dancing in the streets of Seville or in their own hometowns around the world. I'm not sure how long this episode ended up being. It felt like I talked a lot now. But I hope that you enjoyed learning a bit more about the Feria, about the Sevillanas and everything that goes on at the Feria. I'd really love for all of you to find a way to embrace the spirit of La Feria in your own way. Maybe you'll find yourself at the fair in Seville one day. Maybe we'll bump into each other there, who knows. But it would be so amazing to be able to go there and get swept up into the excitement and the music. Or perhaps you'll take the plunge and even if you can't go to La Feria in Spain, just learn some Sevillanas yourself, whether it's in a dance class or by watching videos and practicing at home. If nothing else, I just encourage you to appreciate the beauty and passion of flamenco in your daily life, because flamenco really is a universal language. We can also make things happen where we are all over the world. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I will hopefully see you next week. Hopefully I won't skip another week again. I'm still deciding what the topic is going to be, so let's wait and see. Until next week. Ole!